Inclusion should be the primary goal for institutions, maybe for societies, because by bringing people together through a respect for diversity and difference, we're building healthier, stronger societies. You know the line.
Yeah, I know the line, and of course it's right. But if you think the way to do it is to force people to use a language and to recognize a kind of preposterous Laputan post-structuralist hermeneutics on the one side, or a sort of just a flabby hopefulness on the other, I don't think it's right. I mean, you know, let's just look at human wit and see. I can remember I taught in a school before I went to university, just a sort of job while I was in my gap year. And it was around the time that it was decided that the word handicapped would not be used, but challenged. And this was sort of in the papers. It was an early example of political correctness. I'm talking about 1979, something like that. And I remember these school kids. One of them fell over, another of them pointed at me and went, "Challenged!" You just immediately co-opt the word for your wicked humour, and rightly so. I applaud. You know. And if someone wants to shout faggot, I don't care as a gay man. I know I'm supposed to, but I'm supposed to care on behalf of people who are supposedly weaker than me, and I think it's the most patronizing thing in the world. It's exactly the same political correctness that I grew up with, which then was a kind of religious political correctness, which was people complaining about television programs because there was swearing or violence or nudity. I'm not shocked myself, it's just the vulnerable young minds you see. Well, fuck that. That's just not good enough. It really isn't. And that's my objection. It's denouncing from the pulpit. Russia has political correctness. I mean, Russia's political correctness is that you can't say Tchaikovsky was gay. You know, it's political correctness. There's right-wing political correctness. To use the word redneck is considered offensive, and so on. So it's not something that actually only belongs. It's a way of shutting down debate. It's a way of formalizing. I mean, you've only got to read Darkness at Noon to see at its most extreme this idea of it always starts off with an ideal and a hopeful goal, equality of societies, how communism began, the French Revolution, fraternity, you know, equality, fraternity, liberty, all these wonderful things. It ended up with this Committee for National Security in the French Revolution actually had a law passed which meant that you could take a piece of paper saying Citoyen du Roc is an enemy of the revolution and put it in the central square on a post. And that person would be arrested. It's basically the same as tweeting it. It's exactly the same idea. It's a denunciation, a shaming, without evidence, an assertion. And all these things are done for the best possible reasons. As Thomas Cranmer, who wrote the Book of Common Prayer forward, you know, the founder of the Anglican Church, really, he said, "There was not anything by the wit of man devised that hath not been in time, in whole or in part, corrupted." And it's all very well to say how noble the ideals were, because they're always noble. But you end up with the pigs wearing trousers, in Orwellian phrase. And that's what's happened. Essentially, the left wing won the battle for the campus and is now middle-aged baby boomers who are the left wingers running it. And they're wearing the trousers, and they're insisting what is true and what is not true, and what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. In the name of diversity and inclusion and equality and all the good things, a lot of bad things are being done. And it's delaying the day when people are more included and more diversity is welcomed, I think. That's the problem. It's empowering the enemy.